from the footballgameplan.com, where football makes sense. I'm Emery Hunt, the czar of the playbook, bring you a 2011 NFL preview for the AFC East. So let's start with the number 4 team, the Buffalo Bills.
When I look at the Buffalo Bills offense, I see a lot of young talent, in particular the wide receiving core. You look at Stevie Johnson, I think he's going to make a Pro Bowl this year because he's going to be the lead guy now that Lee Evans is gone. But you also look at guys like Donald Jones, young guy coming in, also the tight end Sean Nelson, and also Scott Chandler. These guys are very solid, very young guys. They just need to get more experience. The backfield is very stacked with Fred Jackson, a workmanlike effort you get from him each and every Sunday, and the explosive CJ Spiller. I believe this guy needs to get more carries. He's the next 2,000-yard rusher, mark my word. But they also have a very solid offensive line. You look at guys like Levitre, Pierce, Urbic. These guys are going to be solid and help protect a very good quarterback in Ryan Fitzpatrick, who's not going to lose you ball games. Also, keep an eye on Brad Smith that they got from the New York Jets. I'm interested to see how they use him in his offense. The guy can do it at quarterback and also is a talented receiver and returner. Defense was a sore spot for the Bills last season, and they went at it this offseason with aggressiveness, trying to improve their unit. You look up front, that's where it all starts. Marcel Darius was a selection, 6'3", 319, already paying dividends for the Bills. You see in the early parts of the preseason, he's doing outstanding, and that's just going to free up a lot of lanes for these pass rushers like Sean Merriman, like guys like Kelvin Shepard and Chris Kelsey, guys getting after the quarterback, and that's just going to help out. You team him up next to Kyle Williams, and now the formidable front 3 of that Buffalo Bills D-line is going to be one to be reckoned with, and that's just going to easily open up more opportunities for the secondary. A very solid secondary, very underrated bunch. Jarius Byrd, Terrence McGee, Leotis McKelvin, and Aaron Williams, the rookie they drafted, but these guys are going to be solid up front. They're going to be sound on the back 7. So I see a lot of improvement from the Bills this season. Next up is the Miami Dolphins. You look at the offensive side of the football. These guys are built from within. Their offensive line is very talented. They have 2 solid bookends in Mark Colombo and also Jake Long. They kick down Vernon Carey to guard, so that's going to help bolster their running game, in which they've added guys like Reggie Bush and also Larry Johnson. But it all falls on Chad Henne. This guy is going to have to take the next step to be a sound quarterback and avoid those mistakes and make those throws down the field to make teams respect the passing game. They have talented wideouts. They have guys like Brandon Marshall, Brian Hartline, Devon Best, Mr. Third Down right there. Solid tight end in Fasano. So there's targets out there for him to throw the football to. He just has to feel confident and make the throws. I like what I see out the Dolphins offense. There's a lot of depth. Reggie Bush is going to add a lot of explosiveness to that team. Not only do the Dolphins have one of the best defenses in the AFC, I think they have one of the best defenses and more underrated defenses in the NFL. These guys are very solid in the secondary. Look at guys like Sean Smith, Vontae Davis, Chris Clemens, and Jeremiah Bell. Very talented corners, and safeties. But you also look at guys behind them, backing them up. They have a lot of talent. Rashad Jones is a guy I'm still high on, should do wonders in that secondary, but it starts up front. Getting pressure on the quarterback is their forte. Cameron Wake, 14.5 sacks last season. He's back. He's going to get more aggressive. Keo Misi, the guy they drafted last year, 6'3", 250. Another guy that's very solid, and he's still learning the position. But you look overall defensively, they're sound up front. Those linebackers are going to be more aggressive, even though they lose Channing Crowder. But there's a lot of talent on that roster. Look for the Dolphins to continue to apply pressure and be a force in the AFC. And if Chad Henne can get his act together offensively, there's no doubt in my mind that the Dolphins could end up in the playoffs because there's a lot of talent on this roster already. Next up are the New York Jets. You look at what they bring to the table offensively. You got to start with Mark Sanchez. I like Sanchez. I think he's a solid quarterback. All they have to do is just let the guy throw the football, take the handcuffs off of him, take the training wheels off, let him play, let him win and lose you ball games. But he has a lot. You look at it, he has a lot of weapons at his disposal. Sound ground game with Sean Green, LaDainian Thompson coming in. And they drafted a couple of guys, in Bilal Powell, but they also have Joe McKnight as well. So there's a sound running game in place. They also bring in 2 talented wideouts. They re-signed Santonio Holmes, a guy that was the big playmaker for the Jets last season, and they bring in Plaxico Burress, formerly of the New York Giants. So there you have your number 1 and number 2 wide receivers really 2 number ones. So it's all up to a third wide receiver to come in and step up and make plays, and that's going to probably fall on the shoulders of Jeremy Curley, a guy they drafted out of TCU, and they have a talented tight end in Dustin Keller. So offensively, skill position wise, there's a lot of talent in place already. The offensive line is one of the best O-lines in the league, which is why they're able to have that solid run game. Nick Mangold, the Brickenshaw Ferguson, these guys, Brandon Moore, very underrated linemen, best at their positions. Rex Ryan wants to bring pressure to opposing offenses, and the Jets will do so again this season. Defensively, you look up front, these guys lose Chris Jenkins to retirement. They lose Sean Ellis going to a rival, but you also look at what they bring to the table. They drafted 2 guys, in Kenrick Ellis out of Hampton and Muhammad Wilkerson out of Temple. I like to call him Chaos on Wheels. Guy's going to play the 5 technique. He can get pressure on the quarterback. Be prepared to see him bat a lot of passes down at the line of scrimmage. The linebacking core, the star of this group is David Harris. This guy makes plays all over the football field. Very underrated, doesn't get his just due when they mention the best linebackers in the league, but I like David Harris. This guy is a stud for the Jets. You look at other guys like Calvin Pace, pass rusher, Bart Scott, Brian Thomas, so there's some talent back there, but keep an eye on Nick Ballore, the rookie out of Central Michigan. This guy is going to find his way on the football field this year. And in the secondary, you know, you have to talk about Darrelle Revis, shutdown corner in the league. Antonio Cromartie, even though he gets a lot of flack, I like the way Antonio Cromartie plays. This guy is a competitor, so the Jets still have a very solid secondary. Now, what's going to happen, they're going to have to take the training wheels off of Sanchez. The reason the Jets are in the number 2 spot is because the offense lacks imagination. These guys get conservative, and that happens when you have a defensive coach. But if Brian Schottenheimer allows these guys to be more explosive and more versatile, look for the Jets to probably overtake the Patriots in this division. At number 1, I have the New England Patriots. You look at this offense, as long as Tom Brady is back there, they're going to always have a chance to be successful. But the underrated part of this offense is that offensive line, because they keep Mr. Brady well protected. Trust me, if they had the offensive line that was patchwork like the Bears, these guys, Tom Brady wouldn't be Tom Brady. He'd be K. McNown. But you look at that offensive line, they're very solid. That's why they're able to throw it well. That's why they're able to run the football anytime they want to, if they choose to. But you look at these young targets on the flanks, Aaron Hernandez, Robert Gronkowski, and the 2 talented wide receivers they have in Wes Welker and Deion Branch. But keep an eye on Taylor Price, young guy out of Ohio, is going to step up and pay huge dividends for this team this year. But we mentioned Ben Jarvis, Green Ellis. That's a real underrated reason why, in addition to the offensive line, these guys run the football now. Ellis, they also have Woodhead back there in the backfield. And the addition of Chad Ochocinco should help out that passing game. The guy is tremendous, very consistent player for a long time in this league. Pass defense was suspect last season for the New England Patriots, but I think they're going to improve in that aspect. Another year with these young guys. They started a lot of rookies, a lot of youth last season. These guys got experience. I love the young linebackers, guys like Brandon Spikes, Gerard Mayo. These guys are going to be outstanding. Gary Guyton, another young guy back there, 4 years out of Georgia Tech. But again, McCourty was a rookie last year, and this guy has already proven to be one of the league's best corners. Very active, great body control, and has great ball skills. So again, year 2 removed, this is going to be in a very improved group. So look out for these guys to improve in the secondary, get a lot of interceptions, and the defensive line is vastly improved. They bring in guys like Gerard Warren, bringing guys like Albert Hainsworth, Andre Carter from the 49ers. So they saw a weakness in their front 3, and they addressed it with those big guys to go along with Will Forks. So look for the Patriots to remain atop the AFC East.
For more NFL team previews, visit footballgameplan.com/NFL or visit our YouTube channel at youtube.com/footballgameplan. And listen to the Football Game Plan radio show, which airs Saturdays 11 a.m. Eastern Time at blogtalkradio.com/footballgameplan.